think that with all the history you have between John Cena and The Undertaker, there's really nobody else you can put in the ring against The Undertaker who understands him as much as someone like John Cena would other than Kane. And another suggestion for The Undertaker to face at WrestleMania, if this is the final year we're going to see The Undertaker, although WWE COO Triple H says that we haven't seen the last of The Undertaker, would be Kane, because that would be the opponent that you would have faced The Undertaker if you were going to retire The Undertaker's legacy. If there have been matches that have truly defined The Undertaker's legacy outside of WrestleMania, it has been his matches with Kane that have taken place both at WrestleMania and outside of WrestleMania on previous dates other than WrestleMania. The matches between Kane and The Undertaker were always fantastic, and the reenactment of that rivalry when it was reborn in 2010 to promote Kane as the World Heavyweight Champion, which was rumored to be Kane's final championship run before retiring, because they're never going to give him the WWE Championship, something I'm extremely pissed off about, and something that I believe needs to happen sometime for Kane between now and the time he retires and is inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame on a date yet to be determined, similar to how The Undertaker will be inducted into the Hall of Fame on a date yet to be determined. I think that Kane and The Undertaker are future Hall of Famers, and it's because of the rivalry they had, especially during the Attitude Era when they were in a ratings war crisis with WCW. The Undertaker and Kane feud went a long way in determining the future of the WWE, who were losing 86 weeks consecutively to WCW Monday Night Nitro because of superstars like the NWO, Bill Goldberg, and Sting. It's incredible seeing what WWE superstars have done, especially during the Attitude Era, like The Rock and especially The Undertaker and Kane. The thing is, you have so many wrestlers that have an extensive history with The Undertaker, and with so much emphasis being placed on The Undertaker's streak than it has been in the first maybe 10 years of The Undertaker's streak when it became noticeable at WrestleMania, especially during the Attitude Era. It's so difficult now to choose an opponent for The Undertaker as it was probably back in about 2003 when you looked at an opponent for The Undertaker and said, okay, you're facing The Undertaker just for the sake of having The Undertaker at WrestleMania without so much emphasis on the streak. We have gone from there not being so much emphasis on the streak to months and months and months and months and months of careful consideration as to who will face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and it's because the numbers keep going up for The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He's getting up there in age, and he's going to really define his legacy, if anything, as one of the greatest superstars of all time. And if you were to comprise a top 5 list of the greatest superstars of all time, even outside of the WWE, to make some considerations, The Undertaker will probably be within the top 3 of the top 5 greatest wrestlers list of all time list because of his contributions to the wrestling industry outside of what he's done at WrestleMania. The Undertaker's contributions at an event like WrestleMania, which began at WrestleMania 7 when his streak started with a victory over Superfly Jimmy Snuka, which wasn't much of a match, but it was a defining moment in The Undertaker's career, because over 19 years later, when Harley Race said that if it had anything to do with luck, you would have thought luck would have ran out by now, The Undertaker would define his legacy as the only superstar who has been undefeated at WrestleMania for that extensive amount of time. Hulk Hogan has his SummerSlam streak, and The Undertaker has his WrestleMania streak. And if you're asking me, should The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania come to an end, or if it will come to an end, here's how I look at that and how I've always looked at it, and will look at it long after I'm dead and gone and my spirit haunts the earth. This is a streak that has defined The Undertaker's legacy, and every wrestler in the industry, from Hulk Hogan to the Macho Man Randy Savage, said something to represent their career and define their legacy. This is something The Undertaker should take with him, and something that shouldn't be taken from him by Kane, by Steve Austin, by CM Punk, by Sheamus, by anyone in the WWE, both past or present. This is something that has defined The Undertaker's legacy and something he's worked years to achieve. So if you're asking me who will win if this match comes into fruition between The Undertaker and John Cena, I will choose the same outcome for an Undertaker WrestleMania match that I have for the last over 20 years, or the matches that I've had the chance to see at WrestleMania, rather. I've always chosen The Undertaker, and even though he's facing the top new talent initiative superstar of John Cena at WrestleMania as one of probably 3 to 5 rumors for an opponent for him, I'm going to choose The Undertaker. Simply put, no matter who they throw in the ring against The Undertaker, it could be someone like John Cena, or it could be someone like Mark Henry, or a legend returning to challenge The Undertaker who he's had an extensive amount of history with. Believe me when I tell you, if Yokozuna was still alive, Yokozuna would make a return just to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, especially with their history from the early 90s, including a casket match on two separate occasions in 1994, once at the Royal Rumble and at Survivor Series. If there was a legend to put into the ring against The Undertaker this year, it would be probably The Rock or Yokozuna, because he's had extensive histories with both superstars. The King of the Ring in 1999, it was because of Triple H's interference, but The Undertaker did successfully retain the WWE Championship just a few short months after winning it at the 1999 Over the Edge pay-per-view, most notably remembered for the death of Owen Hart. And he also has an extensive amount of history with superstars like the Ultimate Warrior. I just love for someone like Hulk Hogan, who's currently wanting knee surgery now, which I'm speculating is because he wants to make a return to TNA Impact Wrestling as a full-time wrestler, which is going to be fun for a lot of wrestling fans, especially diehard fans of Hulk Hogan, both who have never had the chance to see him in person and who have. I'd really like to see The Undertaker face a legend we haven't seen in a long time, or someone the caliber of The Rock or Brock Lesnar, given their extensive history. And if you want a recommendation for a top new talent superstar, it would either have to be a throw-up between three, with John Cena being number one, a close second being Sheamus, and number three would be either CM Punk or Wade Barrett, because those two superstars are going to need something in 2013, with the rumor being that CM Punk is going to choke in his match with The Rock at the Royal Rumble in Phoenix next year and lose the WWE Championship after 12 consecutive WWE Championship title defenses. CM Punk's going to need something, and a match with The Undertaker could give him the chance to build momentum after coming off the greatest match of his career, and a match that he'll become famous from, I believe, with The Rock. There are so many superstars that don't have a certain position on the card for WrestleMania 29, and with it just being a few months away from the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania following WrestleMania 29, superstars are in line for a push, and some superstars have been in line forever, while superstars like Sheamus, Randy Orton, John Cena are continuously being handed the proverbial brass ring. And I want to see something done. If we want to have these matches happen between The Rock, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, and John Cena, CM Punk, and Steve Austin, three matches the world wants to see, it's time to get them out of the way and start focusing on pushing new talented superstars. If these matches need to happen, it's time for them to happen. And that's something I alluded to in a column that I recently threw up on our website for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. If these matches need to happen, it's time for them to happen. Simply put, it's time to shut our mouths, and it's time for us to create storylines to have these feuds derive from, and then have them happen at WrestleMania. And if you have to, have these 3 to 4 dream matches happen on the same WrestleMania. If you have to, save those matches until WrestleMania 30, when you celebrate 3 decades of the most illustrious event in sports entertainment. Have The Rock face Brock Lesnar. Have John Cena face The Undertaker. Have Steve Austin face CM Punk. The straight-edge superstar going up against the toughest SOB in the industry, The Undertaker facing the top new talent superstar, and The Rock and Brock Lesnar repeating history from SummerSlam in 2002. 3 incredible ideas for an incredible WrestleMania. If these matches need to happen, it's time for them to happen. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, inviting you to join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, where you can give me your suggestions on what would happen if The Undertaker ever faced John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin ever faced CM Punk, or The Rock ever faced Brock Lesnar in a match that's been 10 years in the making. We've seen these matches before, The Undertaker and John Cena, and The Rock and Brock Lesnar, but it's nice sometimes to see history repeat itself. Oftentimes it's not more times than enough. It's not nice to see history repeat itself, but I think we can make an exception, and under these circumstances, with us having to wait seemingly forever for matches like CM Punk versus Steve Austin, The Rock versus Brock Lesnar, and now The Undertaker facing John Cena at WrestleMania, with The Undertaker's rumored return of being full-time at the Royal Rumble now is the rumored date for The Undertaker to return. He's on the posters. He's featured in both the Royal Rumble match promo as the featured superstar, and he's got his own individually released Royal Rumble promotional poster promoting The Undertaker's return. And if you search on YouTube for an Undertaker return promo that has been speculated with a date, you will find Royal Rumble promos, I would imagine, both Royal Rumble and WrestleMania promos. There's even a GFX made for a rumored masked Undertaker facing masked Kane. I think that's really what the resurrected Kane since his reemergence at the beginning of 2012, over a year ago, needs to gain momentum. Kane is doing nothing right now as part of the Tag Team Champions with Daniel Bryan. Sure, he's got a tag team title run, but it's not like Kane hasn't done this before with superstars like Sean Waltman. To me, Undertaker and Kane consistently need to be in main event matches, not just at WrestleMania, but on pay-per-views such as No Way Out or Hell in the Cell. They need to be having rivalries throughout the entire year, or at least for half of it, to make it mean something. And I think that with so many contributions, yes, you can take the superstars into the ring that have generated millions of dollars for you over the course of maybe 15 to 20 years. But once a year isn't cutting it for die-hard Undertaker, Kane, Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, and Rock fans. We need to see them at least appear for over half the year to make them mean something. It's beyond me why The Rock didn't win Comeback of the Year for the 2012 Slammies and they chose Jerry Lawler. I understand it was because of his heart attack, but with how The Rock was received after being gone for over 7 years in 2011, you would think The Rock's comeback at WrestleMania 28 would have been something that the fans would have acknowledged The Rock for, or WWE at least. It's incredible seeing all these legends back, but we need to see them more than just minimal appearances on Raw and at a pay-per-view. We need to see something more credibly done for these superstars, and I think that after a match like John Cena and The Undertaker at WrestleMania happens, not seeing The Undertaker for an entire year up until the following WrestleMania, where a follow-up to The Undertaker-John Cena rivalry from the previous encounter at WrestleMania, is really unacceptable. We need to see The Undertaker at least for over half the year. That's a period of 6 months with one pay-per-view match every 30 days, at least every 3 to 4 weeks. We need to see The Undertaker in the ring. You can persevere and preserve a superstar like The Undertaker by doing more with him than just having him in the ring at least once a year. You can have him in the ring at least maybe 5 to 6 times a year and still have The Undertaker be as incredible as he was in 1992. Things like that can be done. I mean, having to purchase WWE 13 for the Attitude Era for the sake of the Brothers of Destruction storyline just to get